Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Sunday, July 14th, 2024. My apologies for the lighting. We have a very overcast day today, and this is the time I have to record. So we're just going to make the best of it and pretend that it's fine. It's fine. Now, despite the appearances of, of the lighting, it is the day of the sun, therefore the day of the god. We have a waxing gibbous moon. We are in Cancer season, the Celtic tree month of holly, woodpecker season, Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, and Pluto retrograde. Now for the details. The sun is in Cancer, cardinal water, representing intuition. The moon is void of course, and then at 9:53 a.m. Central Time, it will go into second quarter Scorpio, a fixed water sign that will represent self-confidence. So you'll probably feel a little bit of boost in your internal emotional landscape when that occurs. Then Mercury is in Leo, fixed fire, representing ideals. Venus is in Leo, fixed fire, which means to be ardent. Mars is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing purpose. Jupiter is in Gemini, mutable air, representing questing. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which signifies redefining our dreams. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing renovation. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, and it represents a spiritual awakening. And Pluto is in retrograde Aquarius, fixed air, meaning to examine intentions. So, for the Saturn retrograde, as a reminder, this is the period of time to reevaluate goals, reconsider commitments, and reclaim your personal authority, primarily over yourself. Everything else is kind of derivative of that, but if you have ownership of yourself, you're really getting somewhere. Then, with the Neptune retrograde, reimagining dreams, reclaiming a sense of mystery, reclaiming faith and magic. So, if you are feeling this pull to, I don't want to say re-examine your spiritual convictions, but to delve into them further, to get a little bit deeper and a little bit more profound with it, that is probably feeling the influence of the Neptune retrograde. And then the Pluto retrograde, reclaiming the ability to regenerate, reconsidering what deserves your energy, releasing attachments that do not serve. This is very much deciding what's in the club and what is not, and then acting accordingly. Next up, the moon phase. So for the waxing gibbous, the watchword is cultivate intentions. You set your intentions at the new moon. You were putting things into process for the waxing crescent. And now that we're in waxing gibbous, it's about cultivating those intentions so that when we come to the full moon and we're reaching the point of manifestation, you have a lot to work with magically already. Then for the Scorpio moon, some of your do's are focus, research, go deep with things. The don'ts are making new acquaintances, engaging in psychoanalysis, either on the giving or the receiving end, and engaging in manipulation. So just things to, don't necessarily want to get into that aspect of Scorpio. So, day of the sun, I would just like to remind everyone that we only have 8 more days with the sun being in Cancer. And one good way to make use of this period is to focus upon emotional cleansing work. The Scorpio moon is going to lend additional energy for that aim, so be prepared to do a very thorough cleaning out of your system if you decide to engage in that particular work. Now for our tarot of the day, we have the Ace of Cups. Its keywords are true heart, joy, contentment, abode, nourishment, abundance, fertility, the holy table, and felicity. So this is all about, the whole, exactly what it looks like on the card. Your cup is runneth over. You are having everything that you need. You have excess of what you need, and everything is flowing through and feeding new life through that. And then remember for the Suit of Cups, think water element, feminine energy, receptive emotions, beginnings. This is actually a wonderful card to have while we do have that sun in Cancer, because it is all about that watery, emotional, elemental kind of energy. And again, use this as an opportunity to get any of the gunk that you don't want in your system out. I mean, that's part of one of the reasons that for the retrograde season, so that we can get stuff out of our systems that no longer belongs. And of course, also with the astrological placements, any of the water signs, that is a good opportunity to do additional cleansing work. So absolutely, if push towards that kind of work full tilt right now. Now for today's Celtic Triad, 3 diversions which will surely bring trouble: hunting, war, and dallying with one who is younger. So let's talk about hunting first. I mean, hunting, of course, can be extremely dangerous, especially depending upon what it is that you're hunting. But when you know from the context of other triads and just from pagan cultures in general, the objection is not to hunting in and of itself. That helps sustain the people. And in fact, the more animal protein that people have in their system, that generally promotes good health, resistance to disease, and strengthens them in general. So if hunting is being cast in a bad light, that would indicate that perhaps this is being done more so for sport. And people who only hunt for sport, that really is a corruption of the true purpose of hunting. It's taking out an animal for no good reason whatsoever. And it's going to lead a person down a path to where they're not giving the proper respect for life and the purpose that each life serves within the general ecosystem. So that's why that brings trouble. And then war. I mean, that's very self-explanatory. I don't know what more I could possibly say. It's so obvious. War is endless trouble. It's endless tragedy. And when people start, rattling the sabers and beating the war drums and trying to get everyone to go off and fight, when 5 minutes ago, they were, not interested. There was no pre-existing animosity. That is a pretty hefty moral burden. That people are taking on when they are encouraging people into life, saying we have to go to war for X, Y, and Z reasons, which usually has very little to do with the people who actually fight the wars, and telling them that they must sacrifice and their families must sacrifice and their communities must sacrifice because someone in power, the war would benefit them, or so they think. It's a terrible, disgraceful thing. And it's no wonder that people are so massively anti-war. When I was growing up, it wasn't as much of there wasn't as much of that sentiment. But then people also didn't commonly think that the government was getting us into wars that we had no business being involved in. And nowadays, those blinders are well and truly gone. There is no trust, and of course, the governments haven't earned any trust on that score. So that these are just the consequences. And then dallying with someone who is younger, young people are very seldom wise. Those who are, it is very much a credit to them. But it is just, because of the stage of life that they are in. And they don't have enough life experience to really reflect upon things, or they might have ideas that sound really brilliant until you put it into practice and, oh, maybe that's why I shouldn't have done that. And when someone who's older is hanging out almost exclusively with a younger person, not for any immoral or ill intent way, they're just they struck up a friendship, which sometimes that does occur. I'm talking about people who are of age. uh, But the trouble is, if the older person forgets their own age and they start trying to keep up with the younger person and they're not acknowledging the difference that the years actually makes between them, not only is the young person not going to really benefit from that association, but the older person is more inclined to make a bit of a fool of themselves. So these are things just for us to keep in mind as we're navigating life in general. Don't forget where you are in the scheme of things, what your role is, and, if you should know better, try not to find excuses for acting to the contrary of that knowledge. Now for today's magical intention, it is clarity. The color for this is yellow, the plant is the dandelion, the animal is the bobcat, and the crystal is citrine. So if slash when, because this is inevitable, you do feel yourself being overtaken by confusion, and this could be any kind of confusion at all, use your magical skills to restore clarity of vision and clarity of thought. And this is not, again, does not have to be about spiritual confusion or emotional confusion. It could be confusion about there's weird stuff going on at work and I don't understand what is going on exactly. I need some insight. You can draw upon these energies to, and also I would also recommend doing some divination to discover what is going on, at least to find out what is in the ether. And again, if you are a practicing witch, you do have this capability, and there's no reason for you not to make use of your skills, because if we don't have clear vision, we're not as likely to make good decisions. And, of course, we want to make good decisions whenever we possibly can. So don't be bashful about using yourself. And if you need a confidence boost, reach out to me. I can do pep talks when called upon. And if you are not someone who practices witchcraft and magic isn't really your thing, you can always consult with people. There are plenty of people who do practice the craft who are very happy to be available within reason to their brother and sister pagans, because we are serving a specific function and role. And and being of service is really an aspect of that role. So don't be bashful, and as long as you're not going to them for every teeny tiny little decision, the odds are that you will be treated very kindly, and that someone will be happy to give you the benefit of so far as that they are able to do. Now, for today's practice, it's Sunday, so that's the day to honor solar deities, also to work on the root chakra. And here's a question for the contemplation, because we've been doing a lot of delving into our astrological natal charts lately. But here's something to consider. What aspect of your sun sign surprised you? Not necessarily something that you did or didn't relate to, or did or didn't like, but just what about it that, as you been doing your reading and research about it, just kind of took you off guard, surprised you a little bit. Just think about that a little bit, maybe journal. That could be a fruitful meditation for you. Also, Sundays are a fantastic day to do house blessings, and that's a good way to put some good energy into the coming week, just in case Monday's a little bit rough. It helps if the household is in order, and if it's had a fresh magical blessing, just makes everything just feel a little bit better. And if you possibly can, and as long as you won't boil or melt to death, go outside. And if you're like me and today you're having some really wonderful weather, I mean, it's overcast and it's raining, and this is my kind of weather. It's so nice and gloomy. If you have good weather of any kind, good weather in your opinion, go outside, enjoy it as much as you can. Obviously, if it is ridiculously hot, stay hydrated, do all of the stuff. You don't have to be out all day if it would actually be dangerous to do so. But take this opportunity to reconnect. Most of us probably need to reconnect with nature more than what we really realize. And last for today, the journal prompt. Where is your favorite outdoor place to be during high summer? And by the time we're in mid-July, I think that really does count as high summer. Everything's on full blast. We're in the big heat of the year. Where do you actually like to go and be? I would imagine for a lot of people it would be a beach, very much like that one. But you might have other ideas, and I would love to hear about them. Or, not. I mean, you can go ahead and just journal about them privately if you want to. But that is what I have for you today, gang. Come back tomorrow for the next edition of the Daily Forecast. Again, be sure to let me know what you thought of this one in the comments. It lets me know what you enjoy, what information is useful to you, all that good stuff. And it helps me tailor things a little bit going forward, because I'm very restless when it comes to this series. I'm always looking for ways to make a little bit of adjustments and try to make it better and more relevant to everyone. But on that note, have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.